You can see this door in this room and it has a purpose. If there is a danger here or there is a fire in this room, the door actually is there so I can access that easily and walk outside and free myself from this fire here or any problem in this room. But when the very door that was designed to actually exit becomes just a worship, that I need to worship the door, that please save me from this fire, I have a lot of smoke, I can't breathe, then the purpose of the door is mistaken. Just like this mask here, a statue, I can pray, statue, please, my hairs are short, I want long hair, can you please make them long instantly? Can you change my color skin which is brown to white? Can you change my t-shirt which is not branded to a branded t-shirt? Can this statue or any statue has ability to do that? It can't even do anything, can't change nothing at all, just give you false hope, because that is the misunderstanding. And when mind is just have been trained and accidentally just the knowledge is there of misunderstanding that these statues or any books can give you anything, then your direction is actually blocked, your intelligence is blocked, your journey is not going to be free. It is going to just block in that falsehood, even this book. I can pray all my life that, I have a fever today and I don't want to have this temperature. I have infection on my foot, I don't want antibiotics, please clean my infection. My nails were cut accidentally too deep, I want to fix that straight away. What this book will do? It can't do anything. It will not change the science, it will not change the facts. All of a sudden I pray that this sun is 12 o'clock today and I want to change that to 1 o'clock. This book can't change, nothing at all. So worshipping a book or statues don't change anything at all. And the knowledge written in these books are out of reach because you can't understand. Just like the word Ganesh or Gyan, Ishwar. Gyan is that knowledge that clears your misunderstanding, just like this misunderstanding that your clarity comes from books or statues, or they can save you from death, they can free you from birth and death. They can't. It was just a pointer. But literally that same pointer becomes now something to worship. Worshipping statues give nothing at all, just false hope. You will still die, you will still suffer, you will still be diseased, you will still get old, this body will still face the same, unless and until you know what those words or what those pointers were pointing to. And you need knowledge, not knowledge of things that the mind has gathered information about this world, but knowledge of truth. What is beyond this form, knowing yourself beyond the I, beyond the image, beyond the name that one knows itself to be. And if that does not happen, if your misunderstanding remains, just praying the door, you will never use the door properly. You cannot walk yourself out from all the problems that you are facing in this world. The word Ganesh, from pointer to worship. In many traditions, Ganesh is loved and respected. An elephant had a human body, large ears, but originally this was not meant to be taken literally. It was a pointer. An elephant has large head. A large head suggests vast intelligence. Not that the elephant is smarter than a human, but that intelligence, when free from narrow thinking, becomes vast. That is all it was pointing to. The human mind is small when it is filled only with desires, fear, ambition, and personal gain. It uses knowledge only to chase things, money, status, pleasure, security. This knowledge is useful, but it is limited and it bounds you. It is knowledge of parts, not the whole. The elephant head was pointing to something else. A mind no longer trapped in attachment, a mind no longer divided into me and mine, a mind that sees the movement of life as one. When ignorance falls away, the same mind becomes vast, not because it gained power, but because it loses confusion. Not by meeting a name, not a story, not the face in the mirror, but by the ending of mistaking these for what one is. This knowledge does not add anything, it removes the mistaken idea of who is looking. True knowledge does not give power of experience, it removes the belief that the observer is a person. Knowledge or Gyan ends the confusion between what is seen and what is seeing. To know oneself is not to learn something new, but to stop mistaking what is seen for the one that sees. That clarity was called the remover of obstacles. Not a being who removes obstacles for you, but knowledge itself when ignorance is gone. Fear is an obstacle, attachment is an obstacle, belief without understanding is an obstacle, the fear of birth and death is an obstacle. When these end, nothing blocks life. But slowly, over the years, the pointer becomes a picture. The picture becomes an ideal, and the ideal becomes worship. Now it is believed. If I worship this form, my fear will end, my suffering will end, death will be conquered. But worshipping a form does not remove ignorance. Even worshipping a book does not remove ignorance. It does not remove fear of loss, fear of death, fear of not knowing where one came from or where one is going. Attachment follows naturally to fear, to story, to identity, to perception through belief. Worship may comfort these fears, but it does not dissolve it. Only knowledge of truth ends ignorance, not knowledge of things, but clarity about the one who is afraid. Truth is not an idea to be known, but the undivided whole that knows itself directly. Knowledge here does not mean information. Information accumulates, true knowledge clears. True knowledge removes what is false, just as light does not add anything, it only removes darkness. The tragedy is not devotion. The tragedy is stopping at the symbol. What was meant to free the mind becomes something the mind clings to. What was meant to dissolve fear becomes another hope. Word Ganesh or symbol was never meant to be an object of bargaining. It was pointing to intelligence that seeing through illusion. That intelligence is not outside, it is not in stone, it is not in ritual. It is the same mind when ignorance ends. When this is seen, respect remains but attachment falls away. Symbols are honored but not mistaken for truth. And the mind is free to walk the real path, not of worship but of clarity, not of belief but of understanding. That is how ignorance ends, not by adding something sacred, but by seeing clearly what was never meant to be taken literally. Knowledge is the only way that you can see through all the misunderstandings. And that knowledge does not belong to person. Because if a person speaks from the self, from the identification, that person is going to come to an end soon. That knowledge comes from that same which is named as divine, God, or many other names. Because even knowledge is limited. Now imagine tomorrow this planet vanishes. What happens to all this knowledge of even truth? That vanishes too. Does that mean that that knowledge itself that is pointing to that which is everywhere vanishes? No, that is the unlimited. That is the Brahm Gyan. That is everywhere and everything, not just limited to this planet, this knowledge, this paper, these words even. But these words are useful because the ignorance has been learned over the years. Information, me, idea of me, my name, my religion, my country, my group, my identity, and that identity fights with others. So you really don't know who you are. All you know is what people told you. Parents gave you information about who you were, your name. When you were born, you had no idea about your culture. You had no idea about your name. You had no idea that which country you belong to. There was no barriers in your mind, no hatred towards other. That is the ignorance. And only knowledge clears that there is no difference between the groups that you see different than you or anyone else. Everyone is different as the mind sees. That is ignorance. But what illuminates that forms is the same, the essence. And once the essence reveals itself directly, only then the ignorance goes, and that is equivalent to vastness, not only limited to just one mind, everything and everyone. Because that's all there is. The ignorance is seeing different things. In the blackboard, the baby is told this is cow. The cow is not on the blackboard. Cat is not on the blackboard. They're drawings pointing to some other thing, and that's how the mind sees things. It's limited. And once the knowledge, it's like filling the cup with dirty water. You keep adding more dirty water, more sand or dirt into it, it becomes more dirty. So the knowledge that has been picked up, throw it away. You don't need anything from your past, what you know. Then what you hear, that will become cleanness, that will become empty, and that empty will show you the true colors of your true self.